Imagine living in a world where over 10 million people share your journey, yet you still feel misunderstood. That's the reality for those living with Parkinson's disease. And it's more common than you might think, and it's shrouded in stigma. Have you ever been told you don't look like you have Parkinson's? Or the exact opposite? You felt the weight of judgmental stares because your symptoms are so visible. Well, today I'm going to break down some barriers. I'm going to share three powerful tips to shatter those misconceptions. So stay with me because together we can change perceptions. Hey, welcome to today's broadcast. If you're new here, my name's Bryce, and this channel is all about finding strength and hope and support while living with Parkinson's. I share real stories, practical tips, and motivation to help you live your life on your terms. And today we're talking about breaking the stigma, because whether your symptoms are invisible or impossible to ignore, the misconceptions about Parkinson's affects us all. The biggest challenge with Parkinson's? People don't always understand it, right? Like some of us wake up every morning wondering, will today be the day when people believe me? Because their symptoms aren't obvious. People assume we're fine. And then there are those who can't hide their symptoms, even if they wanted to. Walking into a room with tremors, stiffness, or freezing means instantly being labeled. And sometimes be labeled sometimes as like sick or strange or weird, and sometimes even drunk. Whether people doubt our struggles or they judge us for them, the result is the same. It's misunderstanding, it's frustration, and sometimes even isolation. But here's the good news. We have the power to change the way people see Parkinson's. And it starts with these three key steps. Number one, talk openly. The more we share our stories, the more we normalize the conversation. If you know my story, for years, I kept my diagnosis to myself. I didn't want to deal with the questions. I didn't want pity. I didn't want assumptions. But over time, I realized that silence like fuels stigma. If people don't hear from us, those living with Parkinson's, the myths will continue. So whether it's opening up to friends or posting on social media or letting people in, our voices matter. Your voice matters. The second thing you need to do is you need to educate yourself and others. A lot of stigma comes from misinformation. I've lost count of how many times people have told me, Parkinson's, that's just a tremor, right? Or it only happens to older people. So what I've learned to do is instead of getting frustrated, I use those moments to educate. When someone makes an incorrect assumption, when you respond with facts and personal experiences, it's so powerful. It's not about arguing, it's about helping others see the truth. Here's some examples of what I would say. Actually, Parkinson's affects more than just movement. It causes fatigue and stiffness and cognitive changes. Or not just older people get Parkinson's. I was diagnosed at 40, and many others are diagnosed young too, even younger than me. Educating one person may seem small, but every conversation chips away at the stigma. Excuse the interruption. I'm getting so many questions, whether in the comments of these videos or emailed, and I thought maybe I'd take an opportunity in each little episode to just to throw in a quick Q&A. So one of the questions I've been getting lately, and a lot is that you well, based on this video, it's kind of crazy. That's what made me think of it. But you don't look like you have Parkinson's, or how do you look so calm and clear on video? The truth is, I really believe in managing my medication, whether taking it on time, every time, and minimizing my off periods. Matter of fact, you can tell in this video where my meds like really kicked in and my off period was like dying off. See if you can find it. See if you can just kind of see and whereabouts it changes for me. And you can see the difference, and put that in the comments. Just put like the time or whatever time it was on the video, and let's just see if you're right, and let's see if more than one of you are right. So anyway, thanks for your questions. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and I'll choose one every time, and I'll do a little Q&A. All right, let's get back to the video. Okay, here's the third tip. Choose empowerment over shame. Parkinson's is part of our lives, but it doesn't define us. I want to share a story about my friend James. He tremors like crazy, and it's like so visible where mine aren't, right? Uh, he shakes so much that it makes everyday tasks, like everything he does, he just like it's so hard. And one time he told me about he went into this coffee shop and he was standing in line and he felt like everybody staring at him. Every eye was like on him. And he was getting so nervous that he had struggled to get his wallet out. His hands shook so much that the money slipped right onto the counter. The cashier looked at him in pity. People were looking at him. The person behind him sighed in impatience, right? It was an awful moment for him. And he had a decision to make. Would he just allow Parkinson's to win, allow Parkinson's to kind of overshadow him? His whole identity, Parkinson's? Or would he choose empowerment? In that moment, James felt like Parkinson's was all that they saw. He retreated, he left, he was embarrassed, he wanted to isolate again. He didn't want to go out. He was just tired of dealing with this, tired of feeling this way. So him and I got together, we talked a little bit, and we talked about this choosing shame, right? Choosing the shame, which he's choosing the shame. I mean, it's not something we've done to ourselves. I mean, who would ever do this to themselves? Not me. After that conversation, James, I don't know, something just clicked. Something went off like a light bulb. And he went, he said, I'm going to choose empowerment. I'm going to do it. And he said, I'm going out tomorrow. I'm going into a coffee shop and I'm hoping my hands shake more than they ever have. And if they don't, I'm going to just purposely drop the money on the counter. And you know what happened? He did it. He chose empowerment. And now he chooses empowerment over shame all the time. He speaks up. He shares his story openly. He helps others people understand what Parkinson's really looks like. And in that moment in the coffee shop, he actually laughs about it now because he's taken that power back. His story proves that Parkinson's doesn't have to take away our confidence, our identity, or our joy. We just have to keep showing up, however it looks for us. No matter if its symptoms are there or that you can't see them, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we don't control the fact that we have Parkinson's, but we do control the way we face it. Do you want to break the stigma? I want you to remember those three things. Talk openly and share your experiences. Educate yourself and others and respond with knowledge and choose empowerment over shame. Parkinson's doesn't define you. And when we do this together, we change the conversation. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you struggle with this? Or if you don't, what's one way that you continue to live fully with Parkinson's? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. And if this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching. Remember, we're not just surviving, we're doing life today. I'll see you in the next one. Actually, why don't you come and join me over here? Because I think this one was picked for you, and I'll be there. Why don't you come join me?